Black wife dies during childbirth. Husband and mistress celebrate until the doctor says, they're triplets. The heart monitor emitted a long continuous beep. Time of death, 3:47 a.m. Dr. Patterson covered Nicole's face with a white sheet. In the next room, a baby was crying. The first of Nicole and Farid al-Hassan's children had just been born. Farid didn't look at his wife's body. He grabbed his phone and sent a message. She's dead. Come now. 20 minutes later, Yasmin entered the hospital. Perfectly styled hair, flawless makeup, tight red dress. Farid's mistress didn't look like someone who had just received tragic news. She looked like someone who had just won the lottery. Finally, Yasmin whispered, hugging Farid in the hallway. Finally she's gone. Sure. Farid looked around. We're still in the hospital. So what? She's dead. She can't hear us anymore. But Nicole could hear. Every word. She wasn't dead. She was in something doctors would later call a hidden consciousness state, a rare type of coma where the patient appears dead but is completely conscious. Trapped inside her own body. Unable to move. Unable to scream. But able to hear everything. And what she heard destroyed her. Is the baby healthy? Yasmin asked. It's a boy. Perfect. Our boy now. Yasmin smiled. I'll raise him as my own. Nicole wanted to scream. She wanted to get up and claw that woman's eyes out. But her body didn't respond. She was paralyzed, conscious, and completely helpless. Farid was 38 years old. Heir to an oil fortune worth hundreds of millions. Nicole had met him 5 years ago when she worked as a nurse at the hospital where his mother was being treated. Fatima al-Hassan never accepted the marriage. A black American woman with her Arab son? Unthinkable. Unacceptable. She just wants your money, Fatima constantly repeated. These women are all the same. But Farid seemed different at first. Kind, attentive, passionate. Nicole believed their love would overcome his family's prejudice. How foolish she had been. The affair with Yasmin started 2 years ago. Nicole suspected, confronted, cried. Farid denied everything. Called her paranoid, insecure, crazy. She wasn't crazy. She was right. And now she was dead, listening to her husband plan his future with his mistress. When can we leave? Yasmin asked. I need to handle the paperwork. The body, the funeral, those things. Cremation, Yasmin said quickly. No open casket. I don't want to look at her face ever again. Agreed. I'll talk to my mother. She'll love organizing this. Nicole felt tears streaming down her face. She couldn't control it. It was the only thing her body would do, cry. A nurse entered the room to prepare the body for the morgue. Oh my God. The nurse touched Nicole's face. Felt the warm tears. Dr. Patterson. Come quick. What happened in the next few minutes was chaos. Dr. Patterson came running back. Checked vital signs. Found a weak pulse, almost imperceptible. She's alive. My God, she's alive. Nicole was rushed back to the ICU. Machines were connected, medications administered. Dr. Patterson explained the situation to Farid an hour later. Your wife is in a coma. It's a rare condition called hidden consciousness state. She may be hearing everything around her but cannot respond in any way. For how long? Farid's voice was cold. There was no relief, no joy. Just irritation. Impossible to say. Days, weeks, months. Some patients never wake up. Nicole heard everything. And she also heard what Farid said to Yasmin in the hallway afterward. She didn't die. She's in a coma. What? But you said. I know what I said. But she came back. Yasmin cursed under her breath. And now? Now we wait. If she doesn't wake up in 30 days, the family can decide about life support. 30 days. Yasmin repeated. I can wait 30 days. Nicole felt her heart shatter into 1,000 pieces. 30 days. They were counting down the days to legally kill her. But then the door opened and Dr. Patterson returned. Her voice was strange. Tense. Mr. Al-Hassan, I need to speak with you. It's urgent. What now? It's about your wife's delivery. The baby is fine. You said so yourself. The babies. Dr. Patterson took a deep breath. Mr. Al-Hassan, your wife didn't have one baby. She had 3. They're triplets. The silence that followed was absolute. What? Farid's voice was a whisper. Triplets. 2 boys and a girl. The other 2 needed intensive care immediately. They've been in the NICU for an hour. They're stable now. Nicole heard Yasmin gasp in the hallway. 3 babies. Not 1. 3. And what no one there knew was that Nicole had prepared everything before the delivery. Hidden cameras in the house. An updated will. Documents ensuring that if anything happened to her, custody would go to her parents, not to Farid. She suspected something was wrong. She just didn't imagine how much. If you're enjoying this story, subscribe to the channel now. Because what happens in the next 29 days will leave you speechless. The following days were a silent hell. Nicole remained motionless in the ICU bed, but her mind was on fire. Every conversation in the hallway, every visit to the room, every whisper, she heard everything. On day 3, Fatima Al-Hassan appeared for the first time. The mother-in-law entered the room and stood there looking at Nicole with disgust. So you're still alive. Fatima's voice was pure ice. How inconvenient. Nicole wanted to scream. Wanted to spit in that woman's face. 3 babies, Fatima continued. 3 half-breeds. What a disgrace to our family. She approached the bed and whispered in Nicole's ear. Don't worry, dear. This will be over soon. 30 days go by fast. Nicole felt tears streaming down. A nurse entered and Fatima immediately changed her tone. Oh, my poor daughter-in-law. I'm praying so much for her. The hypocrisy was nauseating. On day 5, Nicole heard Farid on the phone in the hallway. No, Mom. 3 babies is too many. Yasmin won't want to raise 3. Silence while Fatima responded. Yes, I know. We can keep the oldest boy. He's the heir. The other 2. Nicole felt her blood run cold. The girl we can give up for adoption. The other boy too. Discreetly. You know that agency that doesn't ask questions. They were planning to give away her children. Sell her babies as if they were disposable objects. Nicole's rage was so intense that the heart monitor went off. Nurses rushed to the room. Checked everything. Found nothing wrong. Strange, one said. Her signs become unstable when there are people around. Coincidence, another replied. It wasn't coincidence. It was fury. On day 8, Nicole's parents finally managed to get in. Fatima had blocked all visits, claiming family matters. But Robert and Diane Williams weren't people who were easy to stop. Robert was a lawyer. Diane, a former nurse like her daughter. They threatened a lawsuit and gained access. When Diane held Nicole's hand, something extraordinary happened. Nicole's index finger moved. Just a millimeter. But it moved. Robert. Diane gasped. She moved. I felt it. Are you sure? Absolutely. Nicole, honey, if you can hear me, squeeze my hand. Nicole focused all her energy, all her will, all her rage into that single movement. Her finger contracted again. Diane started crying. She's in there. My daughter is in there. Robert immediately left to speak with Dr. Patterson. Nicole heard the conversation in the hallway. She responded to stimulus. That's a positive sign, right? It could be, Dr. Patterson said cautiously. Or it could be an involuntary reflex. We need more tests. Do all the tests necessary. Mr. Williams, her husband is the one who decides. Her husband. Robert's voice turned hard. Let me tell you something about her husband. My daughter sent me documents 3 weeks before the delivery. Medical power of attorney. I am the one legally responsible for her health decisions, not Farid. Nicole almost smiled inside. She had prepared. Also, Robert continued, I have her updated will in hand. If anything happens to Nicole, custody of the children goes to me and my wife. Farid gets nothing. Not a cent, not a child. The silence was long. I'll need to verify these documents, Dr. Patterson said. Please do. And in the meantime, I want 24-hour security in my daughter's room. No one enters without my authorization. Nicole felt hope for the first time in days. Her parents knew. They had the documents. They were fighting for her. On day 12, Yasmin made a fatal mistake. She entered Nicole's room at night, thinking she was alone. Look at you. Yasmin laughed quietly. The great Nicole Williams. The little nurse who thought she could catch a rich man. She approached the bed. You know what's funny? Farid never loved you. He told me. You were just a whim, a rebellion against his family. I was always the right woman for him. Yasmin grabbed her phone and took a selfie next to Nicole's bed. I'm going to save this photo. For the day they finally turn off these machines. What Yasmin didn't know was that Robert had installed a camera in the room. Every word, every gesture, every cruel smile, everything was being recorded. On day 28, Nicole opened her eyes. It wasn't gradual. It was like someone had flipped a switch. One moment she was trapped in darkness. The next, she was looking at the white hospital ceiling. The nurse checking the monitors dropped her clipboard. Dr. Patterson. Dr. Patterson. Nicole tried to speak. Her throat was dry, her voice a hoarse whisper. My babies. Don't talk yet, honey. You're okay. You're going to be okay. 2 hours later, Nicole was sitting up in bed. Weak, but conscious. Alert. And furious. Her parents were by her side. Diane held her hand, crying with joy. I heard everything, Nicole said, her voice still weak. Every word. 28 days of listening. Robert and Diane exchanged looks. What did you hear, daughter? Everything. The plan to turn off the machines. The selfie Yasmin took. The conversation about giving my babies up for adoption. Robert's eyes gleamed. You know about the camera? I know you're smart, Dad. You installed one, didn't you? Robert nodded slowly. We have everything recorded. Every visit from Yasmin, every call from Farid, every time Fatima came in here to say horrible things thinking you couldn't hear. Nicole closed her eyes for a moment. I want to see my children. You will. But first, we need to settle something. What? Farid and Fatima are at the hospital now. They came for the meeting about your life support. They don't know you woke up. Nicole smiled. It was a cold smile. Perfect. Don't tell them. At 4 in the afternoon, the meeting began in the hospital conference room. Farid was in a suit, impeccable as always. Fatima wore jewelry worth more than a car. Yasmin waited in the hallway, anxious. On the other side of the table sat Robert and Diane, Dr. Patterson, a social worker, and 2 lawyers. Let's get to the point, Farid said. 28 days have passed. My wife shows no signs of recovery. We want to discuss options. Robert said nothing. He just smiled. What's so funny? Fatima asked, irritated. Nothing. Robert stood up. I just want to introduce someone who asked to participate in this meeting. He opened the door. Nicole entered in a wheelchair, pushed by a nurse. The scream Yasmin let out in the hallway was audible through the walls. Farid went white as paper. Fatima grabbed the table as if she was going to fall. Hello, husband. Nicole's voice was calm. Surprised to see me? Nicole, you how? I woke up. Surprising, isn't it? Especially when you were so eager to turn off the machines. Fatima recovered first. Dear. How wonderful. We were so worried. No. Nicole raised her hand. Don't you dare. I heard everything. Every word you said in my room. Every time you called me an inconvenience. Every plan to get rid of my children. She's delirious, Fatima said to Dr. Patterson. Coma patients can't. Actually, they can. Dr. Patterson interrupted. Hidden consciousness state is documented. And we have proof. Robert turned on the laptop and faced the screen toward the table. The video showed Yasmin taking the selfie, laughing, saying she was waiting for the machines to be turned off. Another video showed Farid on the phone, discussing which babies they would keep and which they would give up for adoption. Another showed Fatima whispering threats in Nicole's ear. "This is invasion of privacy." Fatima shouted. "No." One of the lawyers spoke. "The room is hospital property. Mr. Williams had authorization as the patient's legal guardian." Nicole looked directly at Farid. "You planned to kill me. You planned to steal my children. You planned to give 2 of them away as if they were trash." "Nicole, I can explain." "You can't. But I can explain what happens now." She nodded to the lawyer. "Proceed." The lawyer placed a stack of documents on the table. "Farid Al-Hassan, you're being charged with conspiracy to commit murder, fraud, and attempted child trafficking. The police are waiting outside." The door opened. 2 police officers entered. Farid tried to run. He didn't get far. 3 months later, Nicole sat in the courtroom for the last time. The judge read the sentences. "Farid Al-Hassan, this court sentences you to 12 years in prison for conspiracy to commit murder, fraud, and attempted child trafficking." Farid was unrecognizable. Deep dark circles, unshaven beard, the expensive suit replaced by the orange prison uniform. "Fatima Al-Hassan, this court sentences you to 8 years in prison as an accomplice to the crimes mentioned." Fatima started screaming in Arabic. The guards dragged her out. "Yasmin Khalil, this court sentences you to 4 years in prison for complicity and harassment." Yasmin cried silently, her makeup smeared, with no trace of the confident woman who took selfies next to Nicole's bed. Nicole watched everything without expression. She didn't feel joy. She didn't feel satisfaction. Only relief. It was over. Farid lost all parental rights. The Al-Hassan fortune was partially frozen, and a significant portion was allocated to a fund for the triplets. Nicole received full custody. She moved to her parents' house in Atlanta. Far from New York, far from the memories, far from everything that represented her destroyed marriage. The first months were difficult. 3 babies. Sleepless nights. Endless diapers. Bottles at 3 in the morning. But Nicole wasn't alone. Robert and Diane were there. Every morning, every night, every moment of exhaustion. They were a real family, something Nicole never had with the Al-Hassans. On a December night, Nicole was in the baby's room. Daniel slept in the crib on the left, Gabriel in the middle, and Hope on the right. She had chosen the names carefully. Daniel meant God is my judge. Gabriel meant strength of God. And Hope was exactly that, proof that there is always light after darkness. "You'll never know what we went through," Nicole whispered, adjusting Hope's blanket. "And maybe that's for the best." Diane appeared in the doorway. "Can't sleep." "I was just looking at them." Diane approached and hugged her daughter. "You're the strongest woman I know." "I don't feel strong, Mom. I feel tired." "Being strong and being tired aren't opposites, honey. You fought from inside a coma. You protected your children when you couldn't even move a finger. That's strength." 1 year later, Nicole was on a stage, in front of 200 people. The Conference on Patient Rights had invited her to tell her story. "For 28 days, I was a prisoner in my own body," Nicole said into the microphone. "I heard my husband plan my death. I heard my mother-in-law call me an inconvenience. I heard his mistress laughing at my suffering. The audience was in absolute silence. But I also heard my mother holding my hand, begging me to come back. I heard my father fighting for me when I couldn't fight. And that taught me something important." She paused. "True love doesn't give up. True family doesn't abandon you. And sometimes, the people you think will protect you are the ones who will hurt you the most, while strangers become your salvation." After the lecture, a young woman approached. Her eyes red from crying. "My husband is isolating me from my family. He's controlling everything. I don't know what to do." Nicole held her hands. "You document everything. You prepare. And when the time comes, you fight. Because you're stronger than you think." That night, Nicole returned home to Atlanta. Daniel, Gabriel, and Hope were in the living room with their grandparents. The triplets were 15 months old now. Daniel was already walking. Gabriel crawled at high speed. Hope was discovering words. Mama. Hope shouted when Nicole walked in. Nicole picked up her daughter and spun with her. Hi, my love. Mommy's back. Robert turned off the television and smiled. How was the lecture? It was good. I think it helped some people. Of course it did. You're an inspiration, daughter. Nicole sat on the couch, Hope in her lap, the boys crawling toward her. She looked around. Her parents' simple living room. Toys scattered on the floor. The smell of home cooking coming from the kitchen. It was so different from the Al Hassan mansion. So much smaller. So much more modest. And infinitely more full of love. Dad, Mom. Nicole waited until she had their attention. Thank you. For everything. For never giving up on me. Diane wiped a tear. You're our daughter. We would never give up. Robert nodded. Family is who stays when everyone else leaves. Nicole hugged her 3 babies. She had lost a husband, a life she thought she wanted, a future she had planned. But she gained something much greater. 3 perfect children. Parents who loved her unconditionally. And the certainty that she was stronger than she ever imagined. Farid wanted to destroy her. Fatima wanted to erase her. Yasmin wanted to replace her. But you don't destroy a mother. You don't erase a woman who knows her worth. And you definitely don't replace someone who is willing to fight even from the depths of a coma. Nicole looked at her children and smiled. The nightmare was over. Real life was just beginning. If this story touched your heart, subscribe to the channel and leave in the comments. Have you ever been through a betrayal that made you stronger? Turn on notifications so you don't miss any story like this. And remember, a mother's love is the most powerful force that exists.